Welcome to Tatu City, Kijani Ridge. This structure right behind me, we have the pleasure of working on it in 2023. There's so many exciting features. There's a massive living room, 2 incredible family rooms, which is something I've not seen in any of the properties we've done. When you get upstairs, you walk into one of the biggest master bedrooms I've ever seen. But my favorite feature in that particular room has to be the walk-in and the bathroom. There's some things that we're doing in there, they're just mind-blowing and out of this world. But there's also a basement on this particular property, and you guys will not believe what we've been able to do in that space. I want to take you through and just talk you through all the things we've done structurally, but also kind of give you an idea of the vision of how we want to transform this beautiful modern structure into a futuristic cozy home. This whole area will be cabro. We will create a nice parking area. We are going to consider how many cars the client has and how many people he might be entertaining. So we will specify the parking area to those needs. But now let's take a look at the structure. So the first thing that really catches my eye, of course, as always, is the entrance. These columns, these pillars, of course, they are a support structure. So if you look all the way up, we are making a slab up there. So that's why we need all these supports, but also we are using the supports for the pillars. And you guys know I do love a good pillar at the entrance just because it makes the area feel so regal and so elegant, and you genuinely feel like you're walking into a palace. Let's go into the house. This is what is going to prepare your guests for what is coming in the rest of the house. Speaking of guests, one of the things that was obviously lacking was a common bathroom. So we were able to create that right by the entrance, somewhere that's not too close to the living room, but you still feel like you have your privacy if you need to use the bathroom. So here we've been able to create a common bathroom. It's well spaced out. And of course, that's one of the places that we like to do really incredible designs, just so your guests really feel at home when they're visiting you. So now, speaking of the living room, it is so big, and of course you can see that this is a double volume situation. And I love that effect of walking from the foyer and this space really opening up. The light is coming in, and that's of course thanks to those massive openings on this side. One of the things about this house is it is going to include a lot of glass panels, sliding doors, just to keep it feeling as open as possible. The client really did want us to play around with the views that they have in this area, which are incredible, and you'll see how we've been able to do that as we go throughout. One of the things that we're kind of contemplating and going back and forth about is whether we should have the TV maybe on this wall or maybe on this one. I would personally love to see the TV on this wall, just so I can see all the incredible work that fine urban construction and interiors is going to do to just enhance this single wall. Right now, we do have big openings. I've just gone on about how we like them to be big, but sometimes you want to be able to create a bit of privacy. What we want to do is come up with a really creative partition that still allows the space to feel open, but create some sort of privacy. So we will have a beautiful creative partition. Stay tuned to see what we come up with leading into the dining/kitchen area. Of course, we'll do the classic stuff the fine urban construction and interiors is known and loved for, with including maximum cabinetry and beautifying and the tiles and the backsplashes. But for now, I know that we are going to include a massive island in the center, and of course another island that will also double up as a partition between the dining area and the kitchens. I always describe it in a way where when you're done prepping the food, it's such an easy place to place the food and have someone help you take it on to the dining table. Apart from it working as a partition, it's very functional as well. And now we're in the dining area. I have to tell you that the first thing that we did was to check all the walls, check the structure itself, make things nice and linear. You can see that represented in these massive, massive windows that are providing so much light into the kitchen and into the dining room, and there's spaces that are, leading in between different rooms. These openings are actually a place that you can easily use to step outside onto the balcony. To make these spaces easily accessible, we are going to be using sliding doors. And of course, in a house like this that we plan to use a lot of glass, it has to be reinforced because security is paramount. Now let's head into the family room. Why do you need a family room right next to the living room? I've always said you will always benefit if you have the funds, if you have the luxury of being able to design your own house. Please make sure you have multiple entertaining spaces, because not only is it good for your own family, let's say the kids want to watch one thing and the parents want to watch something different, but also if you're having guests, people are able to separate into different rooms. Or if you're like, okay, my living room is for me and my family, I want an entirely different space for my guests. There's so many different ways you benefit from having a space like this. So the main thing here, we're going to play around with the layout. We still have that balcony going on. It is still going to be accessible, just making these spaces even more expansive. And of course, we'll have an inclusion of a mini bar and a kitchenette, just to make sure that this is fully functional. After all, it is supposed to be for entertainment. So having a mini bar is just one of those things that's going to elevate the experience. So now let's move on to the rest of the house. I imagine that this is going to function as the guest room, because those are the rooms that tend to be on the ground floor. So over here we have a bathroom. What I really appreciate, if you're building your own house, do make sure that everybody gets the luxury of having their own bathroom. That privacy is unmatched. It is just a touch that makes you feel like you're at home, no matter where you are. And of course, it just, keeps away any fights or any struggles for people like to use the bathroom. So now we have the bedroom. It's a standard sized bedroom. It does feel quite comfortable, nice and linear, just going on with the theme of the rest of the house. We also have another massive window. So now that we are done with this room, let's go on up. I truly appreciate how on every level, no matter if you're walking up the stairs, each floor you arrive to, you're able to see big openings that still allow you to get the gorgeous views. Now from over here, of course, now we have these here for safety, but you will be able to look onto the living room and also further on to the views that are enjoyed into the living room. But also over on the side of the stairs, we have that large window that I was talking about downstairs. This area will also allow you to look onto the beautiful villas that we'll have finished, but also on into the front yard. There are 2 bedrooms on this side of this particular floor. They're separated by a corridor. We have the slits in the wall, and all that light that is pouring in from that double volume living room is allowed to easily penetrate through, and now this area feels so light and so easy to walk through. Of course, as the project continues, we'll finish it off with artificial lighting for, when the day gets later and darker. So here is the first bedroom. We have a balcony that's extending out just to give you more opportunity to lounge and have an indoor-outdoor experience within your own bedroom. Everybody gets to have a walk-in space, and I see the full potential once we have the cabinetry and lighting in here, but you also get to have your own bathroom. A nice linear window here, nice and long, so that we're getting as much light as possible without having to take up too much wall space. The other bedroom is a mirror of this bedroom, but let's just go in and take a look and see what the views of this side look like. So you can see for this room, you're immediately greeted by the walk-in closet and then on into the bathroom. We're now into the room, nice and spacious and big, and this person gets to enjoy completely different views. It's still as open, still as big, but this person, their balconies will have the views of the pillars and out onto the front lawn. So now let's go to the other wing and see what's going on there. I'm super excited because this house actually presents 3 different living areas for people to fully be able to enjoy. I would leave the main living room and the second living room downstairs for entertainment, for your guests, for everyone. But by incorporating another family room, you have a space that will truly feel like your own. This could be the private family room for this family. We still have a lot of space. People could get like personal chairs. Like I am partial to a beanbag, so I feel like all those design elements could be incorporated here to just make sure that the people who actually live in the house have a more personal space. So of course, even within here, we are going to do the massive TV, the comfortable seats, but also incorporate the mini bar because it is integral for relaxation spaces to just, you know, you don't want to have to run downstairs and get that glass of water. You know, you have your sodas here, anything that, you know, the family knows, like, oh, this particular person likes this type of soda, they could stock it up here and just make sure that it's nice and comfortable. And I also like the fact that it is super open. So this will be extended to allow more use of those views. So over here we have the bedroom. And I love the transitions of these spaces. It just feels so well lit. And I think that's definitely thanks to all the big openings. We have the bathroom in there, nice and well lit. I can see the plumbing is already down. This room does have quite a unique feel. So I probably see that we are going to use this nook maybe for some storage of just creating a bit of a personal space. Personally, I feel like, and these are just my ideas, this is not the final design, but I could see that being a good place to just put in maybe a desk and a chair. This particular person likes to study because I can see that there's a window there, so there will be light. But for the main area, of course, we're playing around with the placement of the bed. We have a balcony also looking out onto the front yard, and again getting the views of the pillars. This is one of those feats that once it's complete, it actually looks quite simple. Once it's done and it's elegant and it's flowing, it's like, it's easy. But looks can be deceiving, and I think achieving something that feels that good and looks that good can be quite tricky. So this landing felt quite different when you first came here. You would come up the stairs and walk directly into the master bedroom, and that is so jarring for me because a landing area is supposed to be transitional. It shouldn't lead directly into your room, but that's what it was. So this entire wall has been changed up. We closed off the entrance, created a different opening for the master bedroom. But before that, I want to address these openings that we've been seeing throughout each floor. I thought this would be the perfect place to talk about it because this is a lift well. So this house is going to have a lift leading all the way from downstairs all the way up here. So these openings are not just big blank spaces. We are going to be installing a lift. So now let's walk into the entrance of the master bedroom. This feels a bit more private than just directly walking into the room. For this wing of the master bedroom, this is more of a work area. So the client was specific about needing an office in their house, but a private office. So we thought with this entire wing, almost taking up the entire master bedroom, we could create an office. So this area here is actually going to be an office, and then over on that side we're going to have a TV. We want to make it fully functional, and this is one of those areas that we have to take special care to customize it to the needs of the client, like extra special care, because you know your work environment can really interrupt your flow. So we need to understand what works really well for them, what gets them going, and what is really conducive for them in this space. So we're gonna work on all that stuff. We have a rather big opening here that actually makes a really big balcony. This would be another tucked away space to just have a couple of seats and take in the view of the front yard. We have this opening that leads out onto the main area of the master bedroom, and boy, oh boy, is this quite the master bedroom. This entire floor is mostly taken up by the master bedroom. So of course we have bigger spaces to play around with. I'll always emphasize, as much as we think, hey, you'll have a harder time designing a small space, that does present its own challenges, but having a big space like this and a room that's supposed to feel so personal and is supposed to feel so cozy and homely can be quite a challenge. As always, we've measured out the bed, we've figured out what the client would want in here, but also we've come in with our own ideas. So we do want to create a lounge area. We want to have a TV over on this wall, but in this little corner here, we want to create a kitchenette. I'm always going to emphasize the fact that in my future, I foresee having a room where I'm able to wake up and be like, I don't want to go downstairs just yet, but I do want to get my breakfast going. I could make a nice cup of coffee in there, have my morning paper brought up to me, sit out on my balcony, and I can just take the time to prep myself for the day in my own room without having to leave and immediately having to deal with whether it's kids or, you know, as soon as you leave the room, there's many things to deal with. We have an opening here. All these openings will have a partition that will create privacy between all the rooms that you're going to see here. So we have walked into the walk-in closet of dreams. Obviously, we want to create a very organized space. So when we're designing the cabinetry, we're going to have a his and hers feel to it. So one side will be for her and one side will be for him. But truly, we all know that, you know, majority of the space is going to be taken by the lady. But another thing that we want to incorporate is having an island. One of the things that we really love to do is create a boutique feel in the walk-in closets in the houses that we do. The idea of being able to see all your watches or your glasses or any accessories that you might have through the glass panel and just easily be able to identify the things that you want for that day is always a plus. All our designs are about simplifying your life but also elevating the experience. Now the next area that I'm walking into is actually the bathroom. This is not a standard bathroom. Honestly, I feel like I'm a bit, in my brain, I'm like, what am I looking at here? But talking to the lead designer and getting a deep understanding of what his vision is, I am in awe and I am so looking forward to it. We want to have a full glass partition right here on this beam, full glass partition, and then have the two sinks over here. So the his and her sink, as we always love to do, we'll have them on the glass looking out onto the views. How magnificent is that? That just sounds so out of this world, so creative, and I have to say, it feels futuristic. But of course, that's not all the bathroom needs. So we will have a tub over on that area. We'll have a shower, and of course, we will allocate a space for the toilet bowl so that the experience, as you walk into this bathroom, your jaw will be on the floor. This is more of an outdoor space. It's a private lounge area for the master bedroom. So we want to have a bar area here. We're going to incorporate a sink. We are going to make sure that this entire area is just glass all around, to maximize on the views. That is the key phrase for this entire property, is maximizing on the views. So to maximize on the use of this space, seeing as it's a lounge area, we are going to have like a bar, like an island here that will function as a bar. We'll have a sink, we'll have a fridge, you know, all the amenities that you would need when you're coming out here purely for the use of relaxation. The idea of having a bar is so fantastic because it makes me think of sipping champagne, and I'm so sure we're gonna have a couple of seats here to make sure that that experience is as relaxing as possible. So there's one more room on this floor that we have to take a look at that we were able to create just to make sure that we're making the most out of the space of this house, because it would have gone to waste if we didn't, you know, make the most out of it. And then we're gonna go upstairs onto the rooftop. This room will be accessible through the landing. You can see we have created an opening right here, so we will build that out just to make sure that it's accessible, so that you don't have to do that little thing we just did. But we have another standard size room, great views, and then we also have the bathroom for this. So now let's go upstairs and take a look at the rooftop and see what we have going on up there. So when it comes to rooftops, we like to create chill areas, like chill lounges, especially if you have a house that is in such a beautiful area as this. Up here is when you really get a good idea of just how green this area is. Of course, there's a lot of people in this area who are building out their structures, but there's still so much nature going around. So we just thought, look, let's make the most out of it and let's create a chill area out of it. So we want to have an area where you'll have a couple of seats where you can relax, but of course with that we have to incorporate nyama choma. So you want to have an area where you can grill, just to make the most out of it, just to really live in that spirit of relaxing. I do feel like at this point those things go hand in hand. If you're gonna relax, you're gonna have a sip of something, you're gonna want a biting of something. So we think of barbecue areas and areas to really just sit down and relax. We also want to create a storage area. You want somewhere nice and tucked away that you can put your stuff, some solar panels, just to make sure that we are staying as green as possible. And as we're up here, this is where you're actually able to see why we have so many beams at the front of the house, like so many of that scaffolding. It's a madhouse, really, that entrance. It's because this is what we're doing up here. We are extending the slab. It will help in the feel of the main entrance, and expanding this place will really help in the feel of the entrance as well. But you can see how it also helps with creating as much space up here as possible. So now, just when you think we're finished, we're not done just yet. So now let's take a look at the backyard. The journey starts right here. We have another extension that's just alongside the main house. This is actually going to function as the guest house. I can see that there has been some partitioning being done. I'm sure each space is going to feel really, really private and also have its own bathroom. We have yet another newly built out area. This, I have been told, is going to be an underground water tank. You know that we don't want massive water tanks taking up unnecessary space. So we are going to make sure that that is underground, and to finish it off so it fits into the environment, we're going to cover up the top with grass so that no one is none the wiser. This area can actually be accessed from the dining area, so if there's any kids, it's such a nice area for them to come and, you know, jump around and just be on nice soft ground. So with that said, let's look at the backyard. I want a pool in every house that we do, but the first thing we're going to do is actually build out a staff quarters, and then on that also have a laundry area and the hanging area. So this entire section on this side essentially is going to be about all those functional bits and bobs. You have to make sure that whoever is taking care of this property also has a nice private space. So that's what we're going to make sure to do. Over on this side, we are going to have the pool and the pool house and all those amenities that we love to put around pools. So if you have to use the bathroom, I'm sure we're going to incorporate a bathroom somewhere out here, or like a shower, one of those outdoor showers that you use before you go into a pool or as soon as you leave a pool, so that you're not covered in chlorine. So this entire backyard will be put to good use, but we're not finished just yet. This is the most exciting part of this house for me, and that is the underground basement. It's purely entertainment. So when you want to have fun, you want to get a bit loud, you want to get a bit rowdy, this is the space that you're going to be able to do that. So in that particular area, we'll have the games room down here. So think if it's pool, or even if it's a PS with a TV, like there's so many different things you could put in there, but it's one of those spaces that we're going to particularly customize to the client's needs. Most of all, we are going to have a gym. I know, some of them you've seen us do on balconies, some of them are on rooftops, but for this particular client, they were like, I have so much room down there, it feels really private, and this is where I want to have my gym. So we're gonna have a gym down there, but to complete it all, to complete the entertainment facet, but we're gonna have a bar. And that's really going to play into that fun factor of letting loose. And now we have a basement that is fully functional in multiple different ways that will be so integral to the joy and the living experience of the client of this house. 2023, for me, the project that I am looking forward to seeing the end result for the most at this moment is this house. So make sure that you subscribe, like, share, comment, and do all that good stuff so that next time when I'm here, you will be amongst the first people to join me on this journey. I will see you guys in the next video.